Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Crazy Scales Iguanas. This is the last clutch to hatch of this year, 2020. It is December 2nd. These guys are somewhere, I have to say, about 4 weeks old, 4 to 6 weeks old is when they hatched. And this is, I'm showing, this was from a green to red pairing. And the reds in this clutch were actually quite brighter than the reds from the last clutch. But just to show you some of the red traits, that all your reds look a lot different from each other when they're young. You have, this is red, and some of the reds are going to come in later. This is another sibling, which just happened to be green. This is from a red mother and a green male father, or sires, or whatever you want to call it. But see how different the clutch is? It doesn't mean these guys are going to be any different from each other as adults. It just means that they're different right now. And I think there's a lot of confusion when you start naming them tiger stripe reds or Christmas tree reds. They all kind of vary when they're first born, and they end up being red. Just red as adults. So these are the F2 generation from the F1. And the F1 was 50% het albino, 50% het blue. And I bred those two together to get this F2. The original parenting was 100% het blue, 100% het albino to a red female. And so now we're down to this point now. So this is F2. So this is 5 years in the making of what I've got here. And I didn't hit any of the numbers I was hoping to hit with this pairing of 5 pairs. I didn't get eggs out of 2 pairs, and 3 pairs I didn't hit any albinos or blues or any of the such. So it's a numbers game when you start off with hets. It could be quite a long time to get anywhere. So now that we've looked at this last clutch, I want to show you a phenomenon. Alright, and I also want to give out a special shout out to a young man who I just recently did some business with in South California. His name's Adam Roman, and he's with, you can follow him on Instagram at West Coast Iguanas. And he's a really cool guy, really patient. I wanted to say also, if you're watching, thank you for your patience. It was my first shipping experience, especially on a large scale. It was 20-something iguanas that we shipped across the country. And doing that took a little bit of knowledge and stuff I didn't know, was unaware of, as far as shipping and stuff. You just can't put reptiles in a box here in South Louisiana and ship them out. It doesn't work that way. So I had to find a middleman who had the special permission to ship live animals. Great learning experience, and hopefully I don't ever have that kind of lag in my delivery time. Again, his name is Adam Roman from South California. You can follow him on Instagram, West Coast Iguanas. And he's a really cool guy. Give him a shout out. He has some really nice specimens, especially iguanas, for sale in that area. So I will appreciate it. Thank you, Adam. And hopefully we do business again in the future. All right, so here we have the one of the first clutches that was red to green, and we have a nice green baby who's shedding right now. Nice fat belly. But what I like about this particular clutch is that they're very light in color, and I am working on a patternless, because I want to get reduced pattern as much as possible to blend in with the blue, and not the Fluker's blue, but one of the female blues has it's a different blue. I think you guys seen one of my blues, but female blues. I have 2 female blues that are showing a much different color than the male blues on that stance. But if I can get that blue to transfer over to a male who has less pattern, you don't have to worry about that fading as the animal gets older, where the normal pattern would be when you're dealing with anthenthic, it ends up being kind of a gray, and the gray takes over the blue as they get older, 5, 6 years old. And then you're left with an animal who's basically gray on top with little blotches of blue, especially on the belly will stay blue. But what I want is for the whole body to stay blue without the pattern changing and growing and taking over the blue. With that being said, let me show you a couple candidates that I have for the Patternless project. Again, I thought this was a red to red, but as you can clearly see, after a few weeks, he's a runner. After a few weeks, none of these except for one that I have left in here are going to be red, even close to it. But what I do have, what did come out, was some of these with no body markings, not even the blue shoulder tag that you would get right here. And this one's about to shed, so it's a little darker than normal, but this sucker is a lime green. And I don't see, maybe hints right in here, a little bit of some discoloration where there would be bars right through here, but nothing in the body. Let me show you a sibling that does have body pattern. May actually, well actually, you know what, I do have another possible red. This one is shedding, you see big white spot. It's got barring in the body. And that barring right there may actually end up, this one may actually turn red. But there's, you know, the blue, the shoulder stripes, the darkness in the, the spikes. I try to remember scientific terms and biology and all that stuff. Work with me. I'm merely just a construction worker. I'm good with fractions. And here's another. Here's my other one that's going to be, now this one has a slight little blue tag on the shoulders. Is it picking up? And a little bit of coloring right there in the spine. But if I can get them to stay like this, because let me show you. Now this little one here is a green. Well, I say that, now I'm looking at it. It's really hard. Sometimes they'll be green and be green forever and then turn red. But I'm pretty sure this one's going to be green. This one's starting to show a little red in the spines right here, the spikes. Let me grab. Wait a minute. So that one, all right, so this is the first one I had earlier. So it's big, but it does have the barring right here and the blue tag right here, and then the darkening in the spines, you know. And of course they're all shedded. But this one has rusty spines, and that one has dark spines. So this one may turn red right here a little later. It might. It's hard to say. And then here's a normal green, but still a really nice lime green, reduced in pattern. And then we'll put him up. Come on. It's okay. But this one is lacking a lot of pattern. Now that doesn't mean a whole lot of much until they get older, but if I can take less pattern and breed it with less pattern, eventually I'll get less pattern. And hopefully, as far as the body goes, have patternless. The tail is another story. That tail will hold a pattern. The tails hold pattern in just about every morph. You'll see the color bands in your hypos, albinos, T positives, blues. You know, in the blues it gets a little darker. It's nice and black. So, let's do an update. Remember the one that was born with the crooked spine? Let's take a look and see how that one's doing. All right, so here we go. See if we can get on top of this one. So it's not so much a crooked spine as it is the vertebrae in the spine are kind of twisted. So at your point of view, twisted would be is going to your left. And to me, it's going to my right. It's just twisted a little bit, but it's not curved. So this animal will be just fine through adulthood, even if it's female or male. No clenching or curving or downward turn of the base of the tail above the vent. And I can't see anything that's going to keep this one from living a long and fruitful life. You know, just a little twist in the tail in the spine, because it's funny. I haven't seen this before. Usually you see the twist and its curves, you know, scoliosis. But it goes and turns like this. So the spikes are going to sit to the side a little bit and maybe point out this way. So it'll be looking like this. Have the spines parted to one side. What will happen once this one gets older? And this one, as well as all the rest, are about to shed, so it's really light in color. But it's just so funny how each and every red's just different. You know, each and every one I got, they red up differently. This one, even with the after it sheds, it's still more of a rusty color and not so much an orange or a red. So it's like a blend of both. But I just love, you can see the green in its face, and they, you know, for a year or so they'll have green on them and they'll be in different patterns and whatnot. But eventually at some point, the reds that are born to be reds will be just that, just red. As far as these go. So with that, I hope everybody enjoyed this last video of the clutches of 2020. I will do some updates in a few months on these, but I do have some videos I want to do with the big blue male, the big red male. Some of my bigger ones, you know, they're great to pet inside the cage. It's taking me some time to get them comfortable to get outside the cage, but as soon as I get that and work with it, it won't take much. It will take one good time, get them out. It's once you know, they close their eyes, you lift them up, you move them. Once they open their eyes, they freak out for a second, not realizing they had been moved. And I got to find a bigger perch because they're not going to sit on this little rock. But then again, please don't forget to subscribe and like my videos, share even, that'd be great. And don't forget my guy Adam over at West Coast Iguanas Instagram account. And just leave any comments, questions. You guys got some ideas or anything you want to see, I'll see what I can throw together for y'all. I appreciate I'm almost 600 subscribers to this point. I just can't believe it. For everybody that's been watching from the very beginning, thank you. You guys are stubborn. Half my videos are really bad and grainy, but it's like a train wreck. You got to see what's happening next, right? So I hope all y'all having fun out there. Happy holidays, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you.